Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So here today I'll be just explaining you I had many queries from you guys like how to um, animate a text and make it floating, okay, with the help of HTML, JavaScript and CSS. So I'll be showing you that today. So how to animate the text and how to make it a floating text, okay. So today I'll be demonstrating you that and what I'll be doing is, so basically we will be having a circle in the middle of our web page, okay, or on the side of the web page, wherein there will be a text, okay, which will be in a floating form and an animated form. That means it will be going from up and down, okay. That means when it goes up, the text will be like the opacity will be 0. When it slowly comes down, the opacity will increase from 1 to 2, okay. That means the text will be visible. So it's a moving text inside a circle, animated one, and the duration will be there, like for what time it will be visible, for what time it will not be. So the opacity depends on that, okay. And one more thing, when you click on this particular circle, then only this text will start coming, otherwise it won't start coming. Okay, so that's what we have to do. So let's start off with the HTML first. So I'll write then the HTML tag, the head tag, and inside the head tag, let me just give a title to my web page. So floating animated text. Okay, and then I'll close this. Okay, now next what I have to do, I have to move on with the styling, the CSS part. So I'll write style, and inside this first I'll start off with creation of the circle. So I'll write dot circle, and then whatever radius or whatever you want to give it to the circle, like the width, the height, the border, everything, you can give it according to your choice, okay. So here I'm doing according to my requirements. So I'll just give 200 pixel as width, then I'll go for height and I'll give it as the same 200 px. Then I'll also give some border radius. So I'll give the border radius as 50%. You can increase it or you can decrease it, depends on you. And then I want my background to be like the circle, basically the circle background. I want a linear gradient background. That means it's a mixture of color. The circle will be a mixture of colors like blue, red, everything will be mixed. So basically there will be a circle, and inside the circle it will be filled with color which has a linear gradient background, okay, like from top to right or wherever you want to put the linear gradient you can do that. So I'll put linear gradient, and then I'll put from to bottom right. Okay, I want it from bottom right, and then I can give the color according to my choice. So I'll give red and blue. So I'll give, and okay, this is done. Now next comes up to the display. How I want it to be display. I want it to be in the form of a flex. So I'll write display as flex. And then you can justify the content. So I'll justify the content as center. Okay. You can also align the items like how you want the alignment. So this I also want it to be as center. And then since I want when I put the cursor, then only like the text should come up, so I'll put the cursor as pointer. That means when I click on the circle, then only the text will come. Okay, and the position I can keep it as relative. Okay, this is done for the circle. Now next coming on to the animated text. Okay, so we have to write the CSS for animated text. So I'll write animated text, and then inside this let's write it. So inside this what you have to write, so you have to check like how you want to display, how you want the color of the text, the position, the animation, okay, everything, like what should be the duration the text should come up, okay, like 3 seconds, 4 seconds or 5 seconds, and then it should not display. All the things you have to mention it inside this one. So I'll mention display as none, okay, and color I'll display as white, Okay, you can choose it according to your choice. Position, I'll put it as absolute. Okay, and you're left out with the animation. So animation, I'll put float text because we want to do the floating text animation, and it should be like for 3 seconds. Okay, 3 seconds infinite. That means every 3 seconds it will be there. Okay, now this is done for the animated text part. Right, now since we want the floating text for 3 seconds, so we want the frame as well. For that, the keyframe should be there. That means if you have the circle like this, like if the circle is like this, okay, you have the text over here, so you want it to go up, right? So as soon as it goes up slowly, that means the opacity will keep on decreasing, because once it comes here, it has the full opacity over here. Okay, and once it goes towards upside, it slowly becomes hazy and it's not visible at the end of this particular circle. Okay, so for that you have to put the keyframes, and inside the keyframes you have to define the opacity, right? So let's go ahead and define the keyframes. I'll write keyframes of float text. Okay, and inside this we will start off with 0% when it is at 0%. So transform, I'll write translate, and I'll mention to this as minus 50px. Okay, because I want to start it from bottom and then it should go up. Okay, and the opacity over here should be 0. So opacity I'll write here as 0. Fine. This is one keyframe done. Now next will come on to when it is at 50%. Okay, so 50% will take it, and then inside that again we have to put the transform and opacity. So I'll put the transform translate as, now it should be 50px. Okay, earlier it was minus 50, so now it is 50px, and the opacity will be over here will be 1. Okay, that means I want the text to be visible, so here I'm keeping it as 1. Okay, now we went to 100%. Okay, so 100%, what would be the transform? The transform would be again minus 50. So it's like the whole axis of the circle. Okay, so it's covering the whole axis of the circle. So I'll write transform. This I'll mention as minus 50px. Okay, and opacity I'll mention as again 0. Done. These things are done. Now what we are left out with? We are left out with the body part. Okay, so first of all I'll close the style, and then I'll close the head. Okay, and next we have to write on the body section. Okay, so I'll write body, and here I'll include the div. Okay, in div I'll mention the circle, so I'll write div class, and div class will be circle. Okay, and on clicking the circle it should show the text, right? So I'll write on click show text. Okay, fine, this is done, and again we will have a div wherein I'll write div class, and this is for the animated text. So I'll write animate text. Okay, and what is the text which I want to be displayed over there? So suppose I want to write coding made easy. This is what I want to be displayed over there. So I'll write this, and then I'll close this div, and next you have to close the first div as well. Done. Now you have to go ahead and write off the scripting part. That's it. So we'll write the script. So inside the script, what we want, we just have to include a function which will help us to show the text. Okay, so I'll write function. So this particular function, that is show text, This we will include over here. So I'll write function show text. Okay, and show text will be element, and then inside it I'll write const text, which will give me the query selector. That means you need to select like from the animated text CSS. Okay, so for that I'll write query selector. And inside this I'll just mention the CSS name for animated text. So it is animated text, okay, done. Our next part would be how to display. So I'll display text dot style dot display in the form of a block. Okay, done. So now check for the brackets if it's there. Okay, now the script is also closed and the body is also closed. Okay, and now the HTML tag is also closed. Okay, done. Now what we'll do, we need to check off all our codes. Okay, so it's for the floating animated text. We need to go ahead and just save it off first. Okay, so now let's save this off. Okay, and next I'll open up the page where it is saved. So the name is an.html. So this is the file. So let's open this. Now if you see, this is a circle which we wanted. Okay, so inside this what we have to do, we have to use the keyframe. That means we have also used, like when I put my pointer and click on the circle, then only the text will come and it will show you the animation what you have used inside your floating, right? So now I have clicked on the text. Now if you see, the text comes up for 3 seconds, right? And according to the opacity it goes off. Okay, so this is how you can make your own floating text. If you wanted, you can use it in your web page as well. You don't have to use a circle or anything. Directly in your web page you can add this floating text itself. Okay.